Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warning about the danger of far-left terrorism across the globe. And it's personal for Secretary Bessent. He says a left-wing activist tried to kill him last year. This is news. The suspect, pleading guilty to bringing a knife and 2 explosive devices to the U.S. Capitol, will be sentenced next month. Secretary Rubio says that left-wing extremism, is real, and that the intelligence that they are privy to indicates that it's actually growing.
Far-left political terrorism is not a recent-day modern novelty. It is not a fiction manufactured by conservative politicians. For most of the modern era, it was, in fact, the dominant form of political violence.
With that, we bring in State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott. Welcome, Tommy. Good to have you back on the program. I want to put up the list of countries that attended this today. It's a long list: political terrorism, ministerial, and many countries involved in being part of this. What is the goal of drawing attention to this far-left extremism? What's the action that the Secretary of State wants to see taken?
Well, look, 2 things on this. First is a clear recognition and case made about the sharp increase in these type of activities that we have seen in recent years. In Europe, for example, we are seeing attacks from far-left terror groups on par with jihadist terror groups. We're seeing in the United States that there are more attacks and plots from far-left terror groups than any other ideology. This is a real threat that must be addressed. And the second point on this, to address that threat, is the transnational nature. We are seeing these groups able to fundraise in one country, recruit in another, plan in the third, and then launch an attack in the fourth. We have to have a transnational approach to address this, and that's why those over 60 countries there was so important, to have that concrete plan to address this threat for all of our countries.
And these are Antifa and Antifa-like groups around the country. In order to have them declared terrorist group in this country, you have to establish that they have that transnational organization. So do you have that evidence that links these groups, A? And B, is there a state driver behind these? Is China involved, Russia involved? Is there a state actor that you see?
Well, first of all, we've already seen 4 of these groups being designated from the State Department in Germany, Greece, and Italy, for example, based off of the terrorist activities that they are doing. And that's where this starts, from the practitioner level. Sometimes we're hearing from critics of this policy, somehow it's driven by politics, when nothing could be further from the truth. This is practitioners recognizing this threat, the real activity we're seeing from these groups, and then designating appropriately. More designations, as the Secretary indicated, are to come. So that's a very important part of this. And when we designate those groups, it allows us actually to go after those that are providing material support for these groups, the financing, for example, as the Treasury Secretary mentioned, to make sure that we're stopping these terrorist activities where we are seeing them.
And are those foreign state actors, those funders?
So as the Secretary indicated, there are hostile nations that are involved in this. That is something that the Secretary mentioned in his speech, including Cuba, for example. We're also seeing an overlap with Iranian regime-funded terrorist groups as well. And our partners are also raising concerns about hostile nations funding these groups, too.
I mean, these are obviously efforts to undermine the stability of Western civilization at large. And here is the Secretary of State, this is number 2, speaking about what motivates them. Watch.
For these architects of revolutionary violence, the towering achievement of our civilization, for them, it's an unbearable humiliation, a reminder of what they cannot do, and a reminder of what they cannot be. So they choose instead to destroy. This is the nature of the terrorism we face today. They despise the West because the West is great.
Does this effort bring together intelligence efforts around the globe with these countries, and obviously the Five Eyes nations would be part of this? What's the combination between intelligence and the State Department to try to fight back?
Well, that's the important part of a summit like this that brings the practitioners together with the policymakers, the practitioners being intelligence analysts, law enforcement, prosecutors. And that's where this began, those practitioners recognizing this growing threat. So a ministerial like this brings the practitioners together with the policymakers so that we can continue coordination, continue information sharing. And that's an important part of this effort. And I think an historic part of that speech was also the case made against these groups, the failed ideology that motivates them. And so we're going to continue fighting this fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's really part of the larger picture you look at, the military threats that we face around the world, AI threats that we face, and these kind of groups that, you know, people might not recognize as typical warfare, but they seek to undermine and destabilize the Western nations in the world. So very important topic today. Tommy, thank you. Great to see you as always.
Thanks for having me on.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.